Farewell Fleabag, the most electrifying, devastating TV in years. Editors note the opinions in this article are the author's, as published by our content partner, and do not represent the views of MSN or Microsoft. That's it. The end. Series 2, which has just wrapped up, marks the end of the sitcom about a 20-something Londoner grappling with the death of her best friend, a troublesome family, running her own business and navigating a tangle of unfulfilling and masochistic relationships. In truth, Fleabag waving goodbye to the camera should have been all we needed to know that this was the last we'd see of Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character, whose actual name we never learned. But who thought perhaps we should never have even considered that Waller-Bridge would fall to the sophomore slump, given she's currently winning rave reviews off-Broadway for the one-person origin show of Fleabag, which debuted in Edinburgh in 2013. Two things in particular made Series 2 so special. First, the in Series 1 she was the uptight sister, but the focus was very clearly on Fleabag's travails. In Series 2, the opening episode of this series has been called Genius, but it was the third that really stood out. How Waller-Bridge, the farce of Fleabag dropping and shattering the glass trophy worth thousands mere seconds after Claire instructs her don't play with that. The mad dash path, the typically quirky lines, oh, I love courgettes. You can treat them up, men have to seek it out, then they create wars, so they can feel things and touch each other, and when there aren't any wars, they can play rugby. The other scene that set social media ablaze was the priest's instruction, in episode 4, to Fleabag kneel, which reduced the often absurd and incongruous elements of funerals and wakes. The unexpected. If there were things that didn't quite hit home, there were few. Given that there has been some criticism that Waller-Bridge's poshness and Fleabag's relative poshness is a barrier to entry. But it just doesn't. It is typical of Waller-Bridge's talent that she managed to wrap things up while staying true to her habit of sidestepping our expectations. That audience cheer. We also had a sort of amnesty between Fleabag and Olivia Colman's insufferable soon-to-be stepmother, and yet, entirely in keeping with character, and Waller-Bridge's writing, Colman's character, also never named, couldn't help a last-minute barb. We also got a heart. As for that ending, the priest's speech on the nature of love was electrifying. Love is awful. There will be many people disappointed that Fleabag didn't get her happy ending, because the priest chose God. But she did, of course, in the way that she has grown. In the Café Thrive Gallery 26 streaming TV shows you can binge and finish during 4th of July week. The Wharf. Romantics High might be disappointed by this parting of ways, but that is offset by the fact we know Fleabag will be okay. That the priest. Finally, the series once again excelled in its artistic choices. Viewed from the final choice of the Alabama Shakes track, this feeling almost certain to be rising to the top of Spotify streams, to its general soundtrack composed by Waller-Bridge's sister, Isabel, and also in fashion, as my colleague Jess Cartner-Morley wrote brilliantly about. The direction and art. Judging by social media chatter and IRL conversation, it seems as though many who either did not watch the first series, or who didn't think it lived up to the hype, have been converted by the second. The writing.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking, the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.